tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop, please, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The dark, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Hey out there YouTube, this is Sam2 aka Wild Moose 6 giving you guys a review of Midway. For those who don't know, it's a well, not even historical fiction, it's a historical retelling of Roland Emmerich's new film. Well, it's a historical retelling of the Battle of Midway. For those who don't know, it's one of the most important naval battles or ship battles in the history of at least of modern navies. Basically, it came after Pearl Harbor, and it represents, ironically, the midpoint or the turning point in World War II in the not the side fighting the Germans, but in the side fighting the Japanese. What I liked about the movie, I thought that they had a lot of attention to detail, especially as it related to trying to they were trying to kind of have these evocations of famous people. So for example, if I wanted to try to have an actor portray Martin Luther King Jr., I might say, have them play "I Have a Dream That," and I just like very I guess stylized way of kind of evoking the sentiment, the feeling of those characters. But if I wanted to actually have someone play Martin Luther King Jr., their reactions and their voices would be, they'd spend so much time focusing on the small and subtle things rather than the big and obvious things. And so with this, they spend a lot of time, I think, trying to accurately capture the evocations, the more emotional, the feel that somebody who knew them might be able to express. And they also did a great job of being able to balance a lot of personalities. I think that coming away from it, I have a very good understanding of the major players in this whole saga in real life, of what their roles were, what their personalities were like, what their concerns were. I think that they did a very good job of that. The ending fights are some of the best I think I've seen. There's some pretty intense emotional moments with those. I think that those are all things that I liked. Challenges. It was complicated at times, I think, to really know where to focus. There were so many stars that it's kind of like everything is important, and I think that the color palette as well of the movie made it a little bit. I think that that's only something, if you're like someone who's super into storytelling, super into film, you're going to notice that. Otherwise, you'll just feel it subconsciously. But I think the color palette was very saturated, and everything was very vibrant, and so it felt more like maybe an adventure movie, like The Hobbit or something like that, rather than a historical war film. War films typically have more washed out color palettes, and so it's just a different feeling. And you notice these things subconsciously. I'm picky when it comes to editing because I'm an editor. Well, at least I like to think of myself as being an editor, but I'm very picky. I like to see people linger in emotional moments sometimes. I like to see a lot of show you, don't just verbally tell you. So I thought that the editing was not very tight. They did a very good job of shooting outdoor. For those who don't know, shooting audio in outdoor settings is what can be one of the hardest things to do, just because you're trying, like, well, where do I put the microphone? And it can be challenging to do, but they did that pretty well, I felt. And then the writing, I felt, was in places a bit too just, this is why this is important. It was too verbal. They didn't show you at times. There wasn't subtlety. There wasn't very much subtlety in the film, I didn't feel. So I think it was an okay movie. If you're someone who really likes history and things of that nature, this is a movie that you probably would put at well, close to the top of your list to go see. If you're someone who likes to see, good old-fashioned explosion, that's a joke. You might also want to go see it. I personally, I'm going to avoid giving a ranking for this one. I like to avoid doing it. I mean, I always have my own personal private rankings, but these are the things that I thought were positives and the things that I thought were negatives. You know, with the evocation, I think that the positives of it are that you're paying homage to the original person, original people, but you know, you don't have as much flexibility in your acting as you might otherwise have. But one thing I really liked, I thought that all the, because you get the perspective of what's happening with the Americans, and then you also have what's happening with the Japanese. I thought that pretty much everyone who was one of the Japanese military personnel were incredible. I loved their performances. You know, and some say, well, you don't speak Japanese. I mean, whatever. But I thought their acting was very tight, expressive when necessary, reactive when necessary, emotionally compelling. I was blown away. I thought they did an amazing job. You know, CGI staff, when it came to making the planes go, also did a really great job. So yeah. But anyway, this is the end of this review. This is Sam 2, aka Wild Move 6. I guess I'm saying, you know, the movie was an okay movie. I learned a lot, and I think that was kind of one of the goals. I learned a lot about what went into it. So the actual battle and how important it was for the U.S. and you know, the people who were in it. Yeah, so that concludes this review for real this time. Take care, YouTube.